Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hindu Explainer series. I am Kushagra Goel. You all know that a lot of questions have been coming in about floor test, right? Now, and there is a lot of confusion in the minds of all of you as to what is a floor test, what it is, the purpose of it, right? So I'll be beginning with clarifying about the floor test, and then we'll begin with the newspaper analysis, right? So floor test is essentially to ensure that there is a majority of the executive in the legislature, that whichever is the party which claims to run the government, for example in Puducherry it was the Congress, that it had the majority in the assembly. That is the sole purpose of a floor test, alright. The floor test is asked by who heads the legislature and executive in the state, which is the governor, right? All the powers of the state government with respect to legislature and executive is in the name of the governor, right? So it is him who has to ensure that whosoever is running the executive has the majority on the legislature of that particular state, alright? So that is a floor test. Now floor test is simple. You call upon all the members of the legislative assembly, you ask them to vote. Who do they support? If they support the party that claims to be in power, then the government is in majority. If not, then the government falls, as was the case in Puducherry, and president's rule was notified because the president's rule was notified because there was no other party that was willing to stake claim in the government, right? And as you all know, now that new elections have been announced, a new legislature will anyway be elected to the state. So it did not make any sense to have a new government for merely 7 to 8 days anyway, alright? So this is about floor test. The no confidence motion, which is one of the motions to keep a check on the executive by the legislature, is a provision in the constitution wherein the opposition can ask the government to prove its majority, alright? So this is in general the procedure. There is nothing complex about it. There is nothing to surround yourself with so many doubts related to this topic, alright? On that note, we'll begin with today's newspaper. So a lot of you would put in the question that why is there nothing has been highlighted in today's newspaper? Because most of the newspaper is all about things that are ongoing, alright? So for example, vaccination needs to be ramped up. Now this is something that has been ongoing. There is nothing related to facts for current affairs here, alright? Then here India and China agree to establish a new hotline. What is a hotline? A hotline is something in case of a dispute, let's say the two militaries clash on a place where they believe it is their border, then to resolve tensions there is a hotline wherein commanders can directly get in touch with each other, alright? So this news is not of any real relevance from CLAT perspective, alright? You're not going to get asked how many hotlines exist between India and China, right? So similarly, yesterday the Election Commission announced that the elections in 4 states and 1 union territory will take place in multiple phases, and the final counting will take place on May 2nd, alright? The Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora announced this yesterday, alright? So now dates of the elections are nothing of real note for us. Therefore, this news is something that we need to keep in mind once the elections are complete, alright? Then moving on, along with this there will be 2 Lok Sabha by-polls also that will take place. Nothing of real consequence on this note either, alright? The one updated news for us is that Indian economy recorded a growth of 0.4% in quarter 3. That is, now the economy had a positive growth after 2 consecutive negative growth in the past 2 quarters. So technically Indian economy is out of recession, but in an economy that and in a society that has huge amount of poverty, this kind of growth is something that is piecemeal. It is not even recorded in the lives of people. Unless there is a double-digit growth or a higher growth percentage, the lives of people do not change, even if in the numbers it is reflected that there is a increase, alright? Then moving on the other national news, nothing of real note for us. The second wave is being discounted as that it will not take place in India. However, people need to keep their guards up against COVID-19, alright? Then moving on the editorial front, right? So the main editorial discusses about Joe Biden's 1 month in power and what all policies he has undertaken, what all steps he has undertaken, and how India-US relationship has moved on from that point. Nothing of real note. This is mere policy analysis. Nothing of note for us from facts perspective. Then on the left-hand side, open minds after online conferences, circular withdrawal. The effort should be to promote interactions. Now, we all know that the Ministry of External Affairs had placed in an embargo, that is, you needed an approval from the ministry to impose such restrictions, whosoever you wanted to invite. That has also now been revoked, and people can now discuss or call upon people. The need is that in India, academic research is still very low, and the editorial makes a case that we should be liberal in the terms of building alliances with people, because through these webinars now, because of COVID-19, people in remote areas also can get in touch with the experts of the field from all across the world. So this is an opportunity for India to build up its scientific overall crowd. All right. Then moving on, the second one, a colonial relic. This is making a case that sedition as an offense should be done away with because of the frivolous grounds on which it is filed and how it restricts freedom of movement and personal liberty of people. In the case of Disha Ravi, the activist also, and the judgment that came out of how there was no real evidence of linking it, and it is a colonial relic and should be done away with, because in case someone wants to incite violence, there are other offenses to deal with it. All right. Then imparting directions to science in India. This is making a case about how India's scientific policy can be amended, changed, how it can be improved, how India's overall intellectual property stance and scientific research can be improved on a policy level, because we are still lagging behind the two pioneers in the field, that is US and China. All right. A policy narrative, nothing of real note for us in this regard. All right. The one number, India's gross domestic expenditure on research and development is 0.6% of the GDP, which is in comparison to far below than what other developing or developed countries spend. All right. Then moving on ground zero, this is report about violence in Bengal and how that is polarizing the electorate before the elections. All right. Then moving on other national news, nothing of real note once again for us. All right. More and more updates about different political fronts. Then there is one important news on the COVID-19 vaccination front. This is more about information of how you can register yourself, what all things you need. All right, for those. So for people who are below the age of 60, from 45 to 60, they need to have a medical certificate that highlights that they suffer from certain comorbidities, and then register on the CoWIN 2.0 or Arogya Setu app. For people above the age of 60, all they need to have is an identity card that certifies they are above the age of 60, and walk in at any COVID vaccination center and get themselves vaccinated. All right. Then moving on, the Prime Minister yesterday spoke of how public sector banks and insurance companies are of note, and that they will remain important in the economy, even though the budget talks about privatization of most of them, right? Then moving on the international front, here is a case about the Human Rights Council and what is being discussed here. All right. As of right now, this is purely speculative. The vote hasn't taken place. All right. Therefore, I am not discussing it, because only when it is passed, then only what all analysis about foreign policy implication, how it will affect Sri Lanka, all of that comes into picture, because it is during the vote that countries talk about why they had taken a certain stand. What is this about? This is about the human rights violation that have been taking place in Sri Lanka from a particular time period. A little bit of history of Sri Lanka's conflict is about LTTE and the demand for Tamil Ilam, all right, and the political aspirations of people in the minority community in Sri Lanka, all right, and how the government there has been repressing them, which is something that the Human Rights Council had taken note of. The previous government of Sri Lanka by Ranil Wickremesinghe was the one who actually co-authored this to highlight how they needed support to ensure peace in the country. But the current incumbent government there has highlighted how there is nothing of this note, and they are already working to strengthen the aspirations of people. Therefore, any sanctions by international body or bringing bad repute to the country would be a detriment. All right. And here, Foreign Secretary of Sri Lanka is making a case that, see, India cannot abandon us. That is the country who is closest to us, the most important country. They are making a case for that India is the closest country, should be the one that supports us to defeat this resolution. Once this resolution, whatever is the fate of it, is finalized, then it becomes important, because certain amendments are moved to a resolution when the voting takes place. A entire procedure is intertwined before the final vote. All right. So discussing something only when it is finally concluded makes of relevance. All right. Then moving on, the violence in Nigeria has continued, with fringe groups and terror outfits again targeting girl education and trying to say that this is something that should not be permitted. All right. Then on the international front, nothing of real note apart from that MBS behind capture and kill of Khashoggi operation. A US classified report has stated that Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist who was assassinated in the embassy, was done on the orders of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Alright. Then moving on the economic front, positive news that yes, our economy has come out of recession. It grew by 0.4% in the last quarter. Alright. Very minimal. Then there is classification of which sector grew at what pace. Alright. And how much our fiscal deficit has increased. Alright. And the RBI has also stated that the bandwidth in which inflation exists right now is alright for the economy. So all of these are intermediate steps related to economic news. Therefore, not of note for you all too. You should just be aware that this has happened, but there is nothing to note down in this particular section for you all. Alright. Then moving on the sporting front also, there is nothing of note. The last test match will take place. Two cricketers announced their retirement yesterday. One is Vinay Kumar from Karnataka, and the other is World Cup winning player of all three time in recent years, that is Yusuf Pathan. He was part of the squad of 2007 T20 World Cup, 2011 World Cup, and has also won 3 IPLs. Alright, so this is a recap of his career and how he was considered one of the dangerous batsmen in the modern game. Alright, so he announced his retirement yesterday, so that is something you can keep a note of. On that note, nothing of apart from that, here Prime Minister Modi yesterday inaugurated the Winter Games of Khelo India in Jammu and Kashmir. Alright, so the venue for Khelo India Games for winter edition will be taking place in Jammu and Kashmir, and the Prime Minister inaugurated them. Alright, on that note, this is for today's newspaper. Nothing of real note for you all. So therefore, this is a lesson that whenever issues are ongoing, alright, you can ignore them, you can avoid them, because they are nothing of real note for you all. Alright, and you should always focus, because now as the examination gets closer and closer, you should aspire to only focus on what is relevant for your examination perspective. Alright, and ignore every other news, because now you have no time to waste on anything for generalities. Alright, on that note, I will once again tell you that for all those who are looking for further guidance for CLAT preparation, our batch for online crash course begins on March 1, and the crash course offers you not just interactive live classes and immediate doubt solving sessions for all students. Along with that comes 50 plus online mock tests based on the new pattern. A lot of other coachings around the country have been offering mock tests on the old pattern or recorded classes for all of you, right? Law Prep Tutorial aspires to, and being the one of the oldest institution for CLAT preparation, does not indulge in such fakery. Alright, we aspire to provide you with real content that is relevant for you to realize your dream of getting admission at prestigious national law universities. So if you are one of those who are looking for guidance, call us, contact us on the numbers provided in the description box, or log on to our website lawpreptutorialonline.com. On that note, thank you so much. If you like the work that we are doing, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, do subscribe to it.